I'm holding two owner's manuals in my hands right now for the exact same Honda engine, and they do not agree on what oil you should put in it. Same engine, same year, same factory in Japan. But depending on which country you bought that car in, Honda is telling you two different things. And when I started pulling the thread on why, I ended up in a rabbit hole of technical service bulletins, fuel economy regulations, and used oil analysis data that most 1.5 turbo owners have never seen. If you own a Honda with a 1.5 liter turbo, or you're thinking about buying one, the next 10 minutes are going to change the way you think about your next oil change. The North American manual tells you 0W-20, full stop, every oil change for the life of the car. Doesn't matter if you live in Phoenix where the asphalt hits 150 degrees in July. Doesn't matter if you're towing a small trailer up a grade in Colorado. Doesn't matter if your engine already has 120,000 miles on it. 0W-20, that's the spec. Now flip open the European service documentation for the same 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. You'll see 0W-20 listed as acceptable, yes, but you'll also see heavier grades like 5W-30 listed right next to it, and in some market-specific documents, that thicker grade is called out as the preferred choice for sustained high-speed driving or warmer climates. In Japan, the home market, owners have been quietly posting photographs of their dealer-stamped service books showing 5W-30 being used as a matter of routine on certain build years. So here's the question nobody at your local Honda dealership is going to answer honestly. If 0W-20 is genuinely the correct oil for this engine, if it's truly the best thing for longevity and protection, why is the same manufacturer in the same engine approving thicker oil everywhere else in the world? Either 0W-20 is good enough globally and the other recommendations are unnecessary, or 0W-20 is a compromise and the other markets are getting more margin. It can't be both. And once you start digging into the evidence, you realize the answer isn't about pure engineering. It's about something else entirely. Before anyone accuses me of being just another YouTuber with an opinion, let me tell you exactly where this information is coming from. Everything I'm about to walk through is sourced from documents you can verify yourself. Honda has issued technical service bulletins specifically addressing oil-related concerns on the 1.5 liter turbo platform, particularly in the 19036 and 19037 series. Those aren't leaked documents. They're real bulletins that went out to Honda dealers and are accessible through public databases if you know where to look. Beyond the bulletins, there's years of used oil analysis data from independent labs. Companies like Blackstone Laboratories publish aggregated statistics, and the reports on 1.5 turbo Hondas tell a consistent story. Then there's the regulatory side. The EPA and NHTSA publish corporate average fuel economy compliance reports, and oil viscosity ties directly into those numbers in ways most owners have never considered. I also spent time with a Honda master technician who's been turning wrenches on these cars for over 2 decades. And while he asked to stay anonymous, what he described matches the lab data almost word for word. You don't have to trust me. You can verify every piece of this. Here's the thing. Nobody at the dealership is going to tell you when you're standing at the service counter. The reason 0W-20 showed up in your owner's manual in the first place has as much to do with federal regulations as it does with your engine's health. Starting in 2012, the US government tightened corporate average fuel economy standards dramatically. Every automaker had to hit progressively higher fleet-wide fuel economy targets or face significant penalties. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars in potential fines. Now, one of the quietest ways to squeeze out extra miles per gallon is to reduce engine friction. And one of the easiest ways to reduce engine friction is to run thinner oil. The difference between 5W-30 and 0W-20 at operating temperature is small, but it's measurable. SAE technical papers and industry studies have suggested that moving from a 5W-30 to a 0W-20 can improve fuel economy by somewhere in the range of 1 to 2%. That may not sound like much to you sitting in your driveway, but multiply it across millions of vehicles and you're looking at a meaningful number on a compliance report. And this is where I want to be fair to Honda. They didn't make this recommendation in bad faith. The engineering work that went into designing an engine that can run reliably on 0W-20 is real. They changed bearing materials, they tightened machining tolerances, they revised oil pump flow rates. A lot of honest engineering went into making thinner oil viable. Honda's position is that the 1.5 turbo, as designed, is genuinely compatible with 0W-20 under normal conditions. The problem isn't that they're lying. The problem is that normal conditions in a laboratory can look very different from normal conditions in your driveway in January with a cold engine and a 15-minute commute. And that's where the trouble started showing up. Let me explain viscosity in a way that actually makes sense, because once you understand this, everything else clicks into place. That number on the front of your oil bottle, 0W-20 or 5W-30, is not one number. It's two measurements bolted together. The first number, the one with the W, is the cold viscosity. The W stands for winter. The second number is the viscosity at operating temperature once your engine is hot. Think of honey and water. Cold honey is thick and stubborn. Warm honey pours easily. Oil behaves the same way, and the numbers on the bottle are telling you how the oil behaves at each extreme. A 0W oil flows beautifully on a freezing morning. A 20-weight oil, once hot, is relatively thin. A 30-weight oil, once hot, is noticeably thicker, which means it holds a stronger film between your moving parts. Here's why that matters. Every moving metal surface in your engine is riding on a microscopic layer of oil. The thickness of that layer is what keeps two pieces of metal from grinding against each other at 5,000 RPM. When the oil film is thick enough, you have what engineers call hydrodynamic lubrication. The parts don't actually touch, they float. When the oil film gets too thin, whether because the oil is overheating, or because it's been diluted, or because you picked a grade that's marginal to begin with, those surfaces start making contact. Engineers call that boundary lubrication, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Metal touching metal, shaving microscopic amounts of material off with every revolution. There's another number you'll see in technical documents that most consumers have never heard of. It's called HTHS, which stands for high temperature, high shear viscosity. It measures how an oil behaves specifically at the temperatures and pressures inside your bearings during hard driving. A typical 0W-20 oil has an HTHS value somewhere around 2.6. A typical 5W-30 is usually closer to 3.5. That difference isn't marketing. That's a real measurement of how much protection you actually have when the engine is working hard. For a brand new engine with fresh, tight tolerances, idling along on the highway on a mild day, 0W-20 is plenty. Honda engineered it that way, but engines don't stay in that condition forever. Tolerances open up with mileage, temperatures climb, and the margin for error on thin oil starts to disappear. In late 2018, Honda quietly issued guidance that almost nobody outside of dealership service departments ever saw. The bulletin, along with related service documents that followed, addressed a specific concern that owners had been reporting in growing numbers on the 1.5-liter turbo engines found in the Civic and the CR-V. The concern wasn't subtle. Customers were opening their hoods and finding the oil level on the dipstick above the upper fill line. Not below it, above it. Now think about that. Engines don't generate extra oil. If the level is rising between oil changes, something is being added to the crankcase that shouldn't be there. And what the service bulletin acknowledged, in the measured language these documents always use, was that fuel dilution of engine oil was occurring at higher than expected levels, particularly in short trip driving patterns and in colder climates. In plain English, raw gasoline was finding its way past the piston rings, mixing with the oil and accumulating in the oil pan. Fuel dilution is not unique to this engine. It happens to some degree in almost every direct-injected turbocharged motor, but the rate and severity on the 1.5 turbo appeared to be elevated enough that Honda felt the need to issue formal service guidance. The remediation involved updated engine control software and, in some cases, extended warranty coverage on specific components. Here's why this matters to the oil debate. Gasoline is a thinner fluid than engine oil. When you dilute a 0W-20 with even a few percent of raw fuel, you're not running 0W-20 anymore. Used oil analyses from owners of affected vehicles have shown fuel dilution levels that can range from 2% to over 5% in severe cases. Lab analysts generally consider anything over 2% a serious concern for engine durability. Some of these samples were showing effective viscosities that had dropped well below the 0W-20 specification, sometimes into what would be considered a 16-weight or lower operational range. Now stack that on top of an oil that was already designed to run close to the thin edge of acceptable protection for CAFE reasons. You've got an engine with a known fuel dilution issue, using an oil with a relatively low HTHS rating, often on an extended drain interval, that the maintenance minder may recommend based on conditions that don't fully account for the dilution. The margin for error isn't just small. In some cases, it may be gone entirely. You don't have to take my word for any of this, because there are thousands of independent oil analysis reports sitting in public databases. If you go on forums dedicated to used oil analysis, you can find sample after sample from 1.5 turbo Honda owners, and the patterns jump off the page. A typical report from a healthy, naturally aspirated engine running 0W-20 might show the oil coming out at roughly 8.2 centistokes of viscosity at 100 degrees Celsius after 5,000 miles. That's within spec. Now look at the reports from fuel-diluted 1.5 turbo samples in cold climate short trip service. You'll see viscosities come back at 6.5, sometimes lower after similar mileage. That's below the minimum threshold for the SAE 20 weight classification entirely. The wear metal numbers tell another part of the story. In samples where fuel dilution is significant, you'll often see elevated iron, which comes from cylinder liners and valve train components, and sometimes elevated copper or lead from bearing surfaces. None of these are catastrophic on their own. None of them mean your engine is about to grenade tomorrow. But they are the early fingerprints of accelerated wear, the kind of wear that may not show up as a problem for 90,000 miles, and then shows up as a very expensive problem at 120. I've seen reports from owners who switched to 5W-30 on these same engines, and the numbers generally shift in a favorable direction. The viscosity holds up better through the drain interval. Wear metal trends tend to flatten out over successive samples. Fuel dilution is still present because that's an engineering issue with the platform itself, but the thicker base oil gives you more protection to start with, so even when dilution occurs, the effective viscosity stays closer to what the engine actually needs. None of this is an attack on Honda. The 1.5 turbo is a very capable engine in a lot of ways, and millions of them are running around just fine. But the evidence suggests that in specific use cases, the factory oil recommendation may not be giving the engine the margin it deserves. I talked to a senior Honda master technician who's been turning wrenches on these cars for over 20 years, and what he told me off the record matched the data exactly. He said that in his shop, the 1.5 turbo engines that come in with complaints of oil smell in the cabin, or oil level at the top of the dipstick, or rough idle, are almost always the ones running factory 0W-20 on the longest maintenance minder intervals. He also said something that stuck with me. The cars he sees with the cleanest valve trains and the fewest oil-related issues at high mileage, the ones he'd personally buy used, are often the ones where the previous owner went against the manual and ran a heavier full synthetic with a stronger HTHS rating. Not because Honda was wrong about what the engine could tolerate, because those owners chose to give the engine more margin than the minimum spec required. He was careful to say he wasn't telling customers to void their warranty or deviate from the manual. He was telling me, as one gearhead to another, what he sees on the lift every single day. Now, to be completely fair, Honda has a real defense here, and I want to give it to you straight. They will tell you, correctly, that the 1.5 turbo was designed with tolerances and materials specifically optimized for lighter viscosity oil. Running thicker oil in a cold engine may increase pumping losses on startup, which can affect fuel economy and, in some theoretical scenarios, put slightly more load on the oil pump. They'll point to millions of 1.5 turbo engines operating without catastrophic failure on factory spec oil. They'll also tell you that deviating from the factory recommendation while your vehicle is under warranty introduces a variable that could theoretically complicate a warranty claim if something goes wrong. That's a real consideration, and I'm not going to pretend it isn't. And in their defense, they've acknowledged the fuel dilution issue through service updates and extended coverage for some affected components. The company isn't entirely stonewalling on the problem. They're addressing it, just not in the way some owners might prefer, which would be a straightforward revision of the oil recommendation itself. So the question everyone's been waiting for, what should you actually put in your engine? This is where I have to give you conditional answers, because the honest truth is that the right choice depends on your specific situation. If you're driving a 1.5 turbo Honda that's still under factory powertrain warranty, and you're doing mostly highway driving in a mild climate, the factory 0W-20 is probably going to be fine for you, especially if you cut your oil change interval to around 4,000 miles instead of riding the maintenance minder all the way down. Shorter intervals give the oil less time to degrade and less time to accumulate fuel dilution. If you live in a cold climate and your daily driving is short trips, 10 or 15 minutes each way, where the engine never fully comes up to temperature long enough to boil off fuel contamination, you may want to consider a high-quality full synthetic 0W-20 with a stronger HTHS rating on the upper edge of its grade, combined with significantly shorter drain intervals. Some of the European certified 0W-20 oils carry ratings with HTHS values closer to 2.9 rather than 2.6. If you're out of warranty, or you're in a hot climate, and you do sustained highway driving at high loads, or you're towing, or your engine is past 100,000 miles and starting to show any of the warning signs, a full synthetic 5W-30 with strong shear stability may give you better long-term protection. The Euro-spec oils carrying ACEA C3 approvals or equivalent international certifications in that grade are well documented in forum data. And if you're already seeing fuel dilution on a used oil analysis, talking to your technician, consider the software updates if they apply to your vehicle, and absolutely do not stretch your drain intervals. Before you change your oil next time, I want you to do one thing that takes about 90 seconds. Pull your dipstick after the engine has been sitting cold overnight and wipe it clean. Put it back in, pull it out again, and look at the level. Is it at the upper mark, or is it above it? Now take a quick sniff. Does it smell like normal engine oil, or does it smell faintly like gasoline? If the level is above the full mark or the oil smells like fuel, you're looking at fuel dilution in real time. That's not a theoretical problem from a lab report. That's the issue actually happening in your own engine, and it's a signal that you need to pay closer attention to what you're pouring in at your next service. If you've been running 0W-20 in one of these engines for more than 50,000 miles, I genuinely want to hear from you in the comments. Pull a used oil analysis. If you haven't already, it costs around $30, and let us know what it shows. Whether you're seeing dilution, whether you've had any issues, or whether you've switched to a different grade and noticed a difference, that collective owner data is more valuable than any single manufacturer bulletin. And if this video made you look at your own dipstick differently, share it with someone who owns one of these cars. Subscribe for the next investigation, because I'm already pulling the documents on another manufacturer doing something very similar with their own Turbo 4. Take care of your engines.